Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PDX Spotlight Podcast. I'm your sometimes host and associate producer, Mike Mooney. This episode of the show features Murs. We caught up with Murs just before he went on stage for his live performance at the Hawthorne Theatre in April of 2019. Please enjoy our conversation with Murs. Welcome, everyone, to the PDX Spotlight Podcast. We are here at the Hawthorne Theatre with Murs. We're really excited. I'm a huge fan.
Okay, awesome.
I've been listening to you for a long time.
All right.
I actually first heard you when 316 the 9th edition came out. So it was like it was a while
2004.
ago. Yeah. A friend of mine showed me that, and I've been on your stuff ever since.
Thank you.
So not everybody is as big of a fan as I am, and I'm guessing some people out there that are big fans of yours don't know that your name is actually an acronym. So I wanted to get that one out of the way first. If you could tell us kind of what it means, and then also kind of how that came to be, how you came up with that.
I have a fondness for alliteration and acronyms. But originally the name was not an acronym, and so I guess it's been referred to by some people as a backronym. But it could stand for anything. It really, I shy away from the acronym just because it doesn't mean anything. I wish I could say it did, but it doesn't.
Oh, really?
It just kind of came to me. I used to be able to come up with one on the spot, but I mean, it could be like a puzzle, like crosswords for the people listening. Whatever you think you can come up with, it's kind of like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. I think I want to leave it like that now. So like people, if you feel like you're good at acronyms, go. I had a shirt once with like 30. I got up to 32. So go for it. You know what I'm saying?
So anything you think it means.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty open. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
I know the U can be used as ugly. S could be used as stupid. But go for whatever you want.
All right. So, like I mentioned to you, I've been listening to your music for a whole long time, and when I heard that you got signed to Strange, I've also been a big fan of Tech N9ne.
Oh wow.
Really love underground stuff, and like some amazing stuff has come out of StrangeMusic. So, how did that all come about? How did you get signed by Strange? And also I wanted to, and maybe I make this two questions.
Okay.
The Mursday album with Mayday is amazing. I was listening to that the other day, and it's so much fun to listen to. How did all that come about?
I originally heard of Tech N9ne on the Gang-Related soundtrack many moons ago, and I was into freestyle fellowship and people who rap really fast. We call it flipping back then, and now he calls it chopping, but on the West Coast it was flipping, or I forget, styling. There's like all kind of things, but fast rapping.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, who's this guy flipping it on this Gang-Related soundtrack? It's really dope. I think it was called Questions. It was an amazing song, and I became a fan. And then we both had videos in rotation. I think two of the first independent artists to get in rotation on BET, and we had or independent underground artists, not like independent gangster rap has always been a staple, but we made it on BET Uncut. He had the this is the town where the clowns put it down. I don't know what this, Mama Don't Stop On. And I had Risky Business featuring Shock G. So I would watch his video all the time, and then I became even more of a fan, and I bought Angelic and what's the other one when he's in front of the crowd? Absolute Power and Angelic, and I was real like, oh, this guy is amazing.
Yeah.
And when I started my festival, I started a festival called Pay Dues. I believe it's the first independent hip-hop festival ever. And my goal was to get all independent hip-hop acts. So the first one was supposed to be like Def Jux, Living Legends, Hieroglyphics, Rhyme Sayers, and Rap A Lot. And I was able to pull some of those artists, not all of them. But over the years, as it grew, I got more draws. So then I told my partner I want to reach out to Tech N9ne. And one of the young ladies that worked in the office was also an A&R for Tech N9ne's, one of Tech N9ne's albums, first person to sign him to a bigger label. And she's like, I know Tech. And she had been begging my partner to put him on Rock the Bells, and she kept saying no. And then now she's like, Murs gets it. So she called Tech N9ne right there in the room. She's like, Tech, this is Murs. Murs is a fan. He wants you to play his festival. Tech was like, thank you so much. And then Travis was like, me and Tech want to fly you out to Kansas City. I was like, for what? Like, I had seen this Psychomentary, and I thought that was really dope. And I got into Insane Clown Posse as well, and I watched their documentary, and they were I got a lot of inspiration from the Bay Area independent scene, and then the Midwest independent scene from Rhymesayers, Psychopathic Records, and StrangeMusic were all huge influences watching how they were doing things. Yeah. And it blew my mind. So I said, I know what you guys got going on there, but I hadn't seen the new office, and that's what they wanted to show me. So I flew out there with my now friend Dave Weiner, who was formerly VP of StrangeMusic, and me and Dave got to talking, and I was like, oh man, Dave works here. I liked him, and then everyone I met as I went through the office, Valdora, Glenda, Miss Penny, who does the merch, like everyone's just so kind, and the facility was amazing. And then after the tour, he's like, so we want to invite you on tour since you invited us to your show. And he offered me an obscene amount of money to go on tour with Tech N9ne, and I was like, wow, man, this is fuck yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I think my agent at the time was not, somewhat my management was like, kind of like, so what? And I was like, no, this is a great thing. And I had an offer to go on tour with a little more mainstream hip hop act that wasn't paying as much, and I didn't think they'd be around in 10 years. And I was right, they weren't around in 10 years. But it was a cooler tour. And I was on Warner Brothers at the time. And they wanted me to do the cooler tour, and I was like, I want to do it with these guys.
Yeah.
They're where I want to be in the future. Like, and I still don't know if it was the right decision, but definitely they were the first artists. A lot of artists that I put on the show, and it's okay, don't usually reciprocate. But he was immediately reciprocating, and I thought that was amazing.
That's cool.
You made us an offer, and I made you. And then I think he knew too. I think he was excited to play my festival, but because once you see Tech N9ne perform, he says you're infected, and he knew the people were going to get infected. And my partner, who had not wanted him to, or did not want it, but didn't care to put him on Rock the Bells for many years, finally saw the performance live and was like, holy shit, I got to get this guy on Rock the Bells. And then from there, he did Rock the Bells, and then from there, it was kind of like he broke through. And so it was great. It was great for me, great for Tech, and from there I became closer with Travis and Dave. And when I was looking for a label, it didn't work out at first.
With Strange, it didn't work out at first?
Yeah. We talked a little bit in 2011, and then Mayday asked me to do a feature on their song Hardcore Bitches, and I got into them, and I liked their sound, and people liked the song, and so I said we should do a project together. And then Burns said we should do a Mursday. I was like, I already have a song called Mursday, but that's a good name. And I was really through my desire to do Mursday, and like I had options of kind of trying to get back out there and do something with the label, because I had kind of retreated to Tucson after I left Warner Brothers and kind of just went into my shell and wasn't really into doing too much. And I was like, fine, let's do something with Strange, because they were still, I wanted to go to radio, and they were still going to radio, and I believed in Mayday, and I wanted to do something with them. I feel like when they came to Strange, they started to kind of cater to the Strange sound, which is fine, but it became darker. Yeah. And they're from a beach city, kind of like me. I'm from LA, like a coastal city. Like I thought they had more brightness in them, and they used to have brightness in them. Yeah. And I wanted to do something like a StrangeMusic album that didn't have darkness. Yeah. Like when I was on Def Jux, like I could have done an album produced by LP, but I brought in Ninth Wonder, and I brought in Shock G, and I brought in, like, I always try to bring color and light wherever I go. And I was like, oh, Strange gets his reputation as this dark thing, but everyone here, like I said, they're all such nice people that they take care of their employees. It's like a happy place to me. Like I had a great time on tour with these guys, and I want to kind of bring a lighter side, and I don't want to I didn't feature Tech on the song until my last album with Strange. Yeah. My fourth album. Like I didn't want to like try to ride Tech. I wanted to be my own thing, kind of bring people like Cess Crew and to my fan base. I think they get pushed unfairly into this Juggalo lane. Anyway, and we did Mursday. I went to Miami, and to me, it's one of my favorite albums I've ever done, and it's hard for me to listen to because I feel like it was a great album. They're great producers, and it should have done a lot better. I don't know, numbers wise. It was a really fun album.
Like, it was really fun. Like, I was listening to it again the other day. I bought it back when it came out, and then I was listening to it again the other day just because I knew we were doing this. And it's just a really, like, it's a good time. Like, you were talking about Strange being really dark, and that's, I don't see that in that album at all.
Yeah, that was the goal, to just be in Miami and having them do more Latin things. Like they had a Latin sound, but like there was no. I was like, let's speak Spanish on the album.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Miami shit. We're leaving in Miami for 2 weeks. Like let's get coladas. Let's go to the beach. Let's have a drink and let's have parties. And like I didn't really eat meat or drink, but I was like, if that's what you guys are into, like let's have some chicken and let's fucking drink some Jack Daniels and like let's just have fun.
Yeah.
And I think it came off that way. Like I said, I wish it would have done better. That's why I'm kind of hesitant to ever do another one until the first one goes platinum. I'll wait.
Yeah. Well, I'll buy the rest of them.
Yeah, there you go, man. Problem
I want to hear a second one. We got to get the first one platinum. Is what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So can we talk a little bit about producers?
Sure.
You've worked with a lot of producers, like you were talking about. You're got an album coming up with Ninth Wonder.
Yes.
Is there anything that you can tell us about that album?
It's called The Iliad is Dead and the Odyssey is Over. It's produced by Ninth Wonder and the Soul Council. Their most popular album is the Grammy-nominated Layla's Wisdom by Rhapsody. So the same production team that did this record. They also did a record that's really amazing called The All by Smith & Wesson, which probably to me is the second best Smith & Wesson album of all time. And I think some of the best music from Jamla and Dreamville is coming out of North Carolina right now. And I have roots there from 316. And I just like, my two favorite albums of the past decade are 2014 Forest Hills Drive and Layla's Wisdom. And they're both from North Carolina MCs and they're recorded in North Carolina. And I kind of just wanted to take advantage of that energy. So we recorded over 2 weeks this winter.
Oh, wow. So it's done.
It's done. Yeah, it was done December 15th. My vocals were done. We've been waiting for mixes.
Okay.
So hopefully it'll be out, and I know it doesn't make sense to record an album in winter and release it in summer, but it'll be out hopefully mid to late May.
Okay, I can't wait. So, and this is a bit of a turn, I'll say. Sadly, Nipsey Hussle just passed, and I was listening to your album, and you actually you have a song where you mention him. I just wanted to get kind of your experience of hearing about his passing and kind of how you handled it.
It's very unfortunate. It's a huge blow to my city and to the hip hop nation and unbeknownst to the nation as a whole in the world. I think it's a loss to the entire world. Today somebody put out a chart. I think Karen Civil, God bless her, put out a chart of all the things Nipsey was involved in, like from cryptocurrency to like everything. He invested in the first streaming platform, but solely based on cryptocurrency and like subscriptions and things he was working on that didn't get to come to fruition. Things I know because I live in the Crenshaw area. Like I live off Crenshaw on 108th, and my family lives there. And we, I've ever since. I didn't realize how important Nipsey was to me on a subconscious level. Like I love E40. He's my favorite rapper of all time. I've maybe mentioned him once in a song. I've mentioned Nipsey 3 times.
Oh, really?
In 3 different albums. And I didn't realize that till we were doing rehearsal, and I was like, oh shit. And I remember I have a line in a song called Fresh Kicks that came out in 2008, and we shot it at the store, the video, at part of it at his store when it first opened, because I wanted to give him shine, and the rest of the world wasn't a huge fan. When I make reference to him in the song, and people would always look at me like, okay, that's cool, I don't get the metaphor. Who's Nipsey Hussle? Who's Nipsey? And I was like, but then as he grew, I saw people catch on to that metaphor over the years, and it was fun to watch him grow. And he did pay dues. In 1 year, I think he was coming from the Pacific Northwest, and he missed his flight, and he missed his set. And I rarely had anyone miss a set of paid dues. And the next year, he DM'd me on Twitter and said, I want to do it, and I do it for free to make it up to you. I remember that I let you down. Just pay my band, and I'll come through. And it was really admirable. He was always a man of his word. Whenever I saw him, he was really kind and just full of light. And I think, it hit me harder than I thought it would. And I shed a few tears. And I've been wearing all black every day on tour because a lot of artists refused to put out music until it was proper morning time. I didn't have the luxury because I had a tour booked. I don't say luxury, I just didn't have the means to do that. So when I perform on this whole tour, all 41 dates is all black. it's sad, but I think that his spirit has risen stronger. It's sad for his family and his friends. But I'm happy to see the way he's being honored and that people felt the same way. And I guess that's the bright side of a very sad situation.
Yeah. It's such a tragedy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. I didn't have any transition for that.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was going to be that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't want to go too deep. But you can't. For me,
totally fine.
Yeah, when you mention him, it's like we went to the same high school, 9 years apart. And I don't know if he finished. I barely finished. But he, like me, was bussed in from another neighborhood, and he was exposed to different things. But he never forgot where he was from and incorporated everything and everything about the city into everything he did. But in a way that it was relatable for people outside of the city. So I don't know. I don't know if there's any, like, it's hard to transition out of that question.
Yeah,
but it's also hard for, like, I think my city is in a process of transitioning life without him.
Yeah,
and
trying to figure out where
maybe something I don't think we took for granted, but something we didn't think would be gone as soon because
so suddenly,
and he was just on the verge of, like, the things he did and put in place were not all in preparation, but there's a huge train coming to the Crenshaw district, and it's been an upheaval. They've been tearing up Crenshaw, which is a major artery for the black community, and he made sure that black businesses and young people of color and business owners of color were involved in the transition, that we didn't get gentrified and we didn't get pushed out. There's so many people fighting with him, and he was one from our generation that was fighting hard and making sure I think it's a 1.3 mile art walk area that honors everything he was pushing. He's not going to get to see that, and that breaks my heart. When that train it's going to be the first stop from LAX that people from all around the world that take that train see. The first place they're going to stop is the Crenshaw district, which is the heart of the black community there. And he did so much to make sure that we didn't get erased, and that when people got there, they knew who we were. And it completely destroys me to realize that he's not going to get to, maybe in a spiritual sense, he'll get to see it. And so, yeah, he was cheated. He was definitely robbed, and we were all robbed, and his family was robbed. So, like I said, it's hard to transition out of the question, and I'm still trying to figure out, and not being home and seeing my city mourn and not being able to see the change happen when I get back.
Well, not being able to mourn with them.
Yeah.
That's another big part of it.
So it's it's a rough transition overall.
Yeah. For everybody. So you've also, again, this is the worst possible transition I could have come up with. I want to talk about producers. I know we have a little bit, but do you choose the producers that you work with based on the concept for the song that you have, or do you just hear producers that you like and you go, I want to work with them? How does it come together?
Just people that I know that I like, or I ask other people what they think. I'm a very amusical person. I'm a very literal person, and I'm a writer. I'm a storyteller. So music is not my forte. So I'll ask someone, or if I know someone is doing well, or I feel inspired by something, then I'll ask them if they want to do beats for me. But I usually let the producer choose the tracks, and then whatever speaks to me, they'll send me some, and I'll say, okay, if I don't get an idea in the first 15, 20 seconds, then it's probably not the one for me. Send me another one. And then, whatever comes to me, I'll write. It doesn't always mean it's good, but it's something.
I mean, everything I've heard's been good.
Well, I don't, but no one gets to hear everything. Like for Ninth Wonder and I, and even Seven, when we did the most recent album, Strange Journey into the Unimaginable, there's always half the songs that never make it. So if there's 12 songs on the album, there's probably 12 other ones that never will see the light of day. And then those are the 12 that I recorded, and there's probably 5 more that I wrote that I even feel like I should be speaking into a microphone. Yeah. So there's a lot of throwaway shit.
But I mean, I think that's everybody, right? Like everybody who does anything they don't release 100% of it.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of artists, a lot of people who paint who don't, paint a lot of shit.
Yeah, skaters do that as well.
Yeah. So I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Lighten it up a little bit.
All right.
In 2008,
yes,
Murs for president.
Yes.
There have been a lot of people who have declared their candidacy for president recently, like within the last 6-8 months. I'm curious if there's anything you wanted to announce today.
Yeah, definitely not running for president.
Oh.
Definitely, I don't have the qualifications. I'm definitely not well versed enough in politics, but I think being the president of hip hop has always interested me, and I recently had a stint as the co-director, producer, and is it star or host of a show called The Breakdown for Hip Hop DX, where we cover topics like old school versus new school, homophobia in hip hop, Islamophobia in hip hop, just things like that. It's a little 10-minute kind of op-ed piece that I do, and a lot of when I first started, people were the website, or I guess the producers, the executive producer, CEO of the company, say, well, maybe you should ease off on the history lessons. Like young people watch YouTube. This is a young platform, and the more I started going out to the streets, there's kids who never heard me rap in my life. Like I was walking through the New Jersey airport, and there were some kids on their way to Ireland, some teenagers. And they're like, oh my God, man, we love your YouTube show. We love learning so much about hip hop. And I was like, wow. Yeah. And everywhere I went, it was always the young people saying, thank you for taking time to teach us in something where you're not talking down to us, where you're not saying fuck mumble rap and fuck, because I advocate for them, and I call the older heads to task. And then like Method Man reached out to me, Tech N9ne reached out to me, a lot of Sadat X, Brand Nubian reached out, like, keep doing what you're doing for the culture. We like that you're educating the youth and you're giving us another perspective on what they're going through. Because like through studying and researching for the show, like I discovered Lil Peep, who was great. I'm not a huge fan of Lil Pump, but before I didn't know the difference. Anyone with Lil in front of their name was garbage to me. Yeah. And then when I was forced to listen to it, I was like, oh, this kid is, I was going through a divorce. Here I am, my late 30s, going through my first divorce. And this 21-year-old has the same pain in his music that I'm feeling. And I don't, and unfortunately he passed away because there's a lot of pain for that kid to deal with. But I was feeling his music, and I was like, wow, this is not what we think it is, And so I would use that platform to bring it out. So now I feel like I am really, I feel like I am qualified enough to be the president of hip hop.
Well, good.
And
so that makes me wonder, where do you think hip hop is headed next? Just as a genre.
Man, it's really like with Nipsey and people are getting, my mother, Barack Obama, the letter he wrote about Nipsey, like in his passing, unfortunately, people are getting their eyes opening to the pastor who he didn't say eulogized him, but what would be called a eulogy, compared him to McDonald's. He's like, McDonald's never has to talk bad about Burger King, but Burger King comes after the Big Mac. Carl's Jr. attacks McDonald's all the time, and they have the Whopper, and they have the Jumbo Jack. Everyone's trying to be the Big Mac, and they do taste tests, and they McDonald's and this. But he's like, well, why do we go to McDonald's? He's like, the French fries. The burger is just to draw you in, but you're there for the fries and the shakes and the McFlurry and everything else. And he's like, Nipsey's rapping was just that, the burger. He's a rapper, but the thing that why we all loved him so much is because he was a part of our community. He was active. He was putting his money where his mouth is. And I think that people realizing, and young rappers realizing that music is just the music, and hip hop has always been a culture. And I have a friend who's a 70-something-year-old teacher in Denver, was until she was unfairly taken out of her position, but she loves hip hop. One of her students turned her on to Tupac, and she's been a fan. She can recite you every Tupac lyric, a bunch of Murs lyrics, everything. You would not believe the things this woman knows. And when people try to compare hip hop to rock or country, she gets so upset. She's like, hip hop is so much more than rap music. It's a whole culture. And I think that that's where hip hop is going, is being recognized as something more than rap music. And
so people are starting to kind of contextualize it inside the rap part of it, kind of contextualizing all other things that hip hop is.
Yeah, it's a movement. It's a culture. And now as it's aging, it's not just youth culture anymore. There's, like, to me, Nipsey was wise beyond his years, and there are people like that, that are highly educated and and motivated to make change. In Sudan right now, hip hop's been involved in the Arab Spring. It's worldwide, and it's not just about the music. And I think the most recently heinous act against hip hop was Billboard's taking Old Town Road by Lil Nas X off of the country charts because it wasn't a country song. I don't know if you've heard the song. No. I'm gonna take my horse down a one trail road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. Sounds like a country song.
Yeah.
But it was a black kid who made it, and he raps a little bit on it, and it was the #1 country record in America.
And they took it off.
And they took it off the charts, said it wasn't country music. And I thought that was ridiculous. And so I tweeted them, and they didn't respond, of course, but I was like, this was an opportunity for our time in our country for a bunch of white people that may not ever listen to a black kid to get to listen to a black kid, and for a black kid and for black children to be embraced by that side of America at a time when politics is driving a wedge between those two factions in America. And I was like, Billboard, this is your opportunity to empower this kid and empower this community, the country music community, and make an opportunity to bridge something where our politics and our president is unfortunately keeping us apart.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is much bigger than your fucking charts. And it's, I was like, what about it isn't country? He's talking about a horse. His girlfriend left him because he was a cheating, no good person. He's wearing Wranglers. He mentions all this. He has his horses in his back. He doesn't want a Porsche. He wants to ride his horse down the Old Town Road. How the fuck is this not a fucking country song?
Right.
And I was so proud of this kid or his label, whoever, because what he did was keep the same song and get Billy Ray Cyrus to do a feature. And now these motherfuckers can't keep it off the country chart. And I said the best thing for him to do is try to get Metallica and get Jose James to do a jazz version and then dominate every fucking genre so that people can stop making hip hop. Because they put Hotline Bling by Drake as the #1 rap song, but he doesn't rap a fucking word on that song. He sings all the time. We didn't complain. And like I brought up Lil Peep. Lil Peep's not really a rapper, but he's hip hop. And same thing with Lil Nas X. It's rapping, but it's a country song, but it's still hip hop. And I think that's where hip hop is going, where people have to deal with it as something that's bigger than rap music, because there's dance involved with it. My child takes breakdancing classes and he loves it. And the guy who teaches the breakdancing classes grew up in a very strict Christian household and didn't start listening to rap till he was 30, but he's been breakdancing for most of his life and has nothing to do with rap music.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with the culture of hip hop. And so I used to say, I don't know where hip hop is going. I don't know where rap is going, because there could be a Little Peep. There could be a guy that has rainbow colored hair and tattoos on his face. I would have never told you that 50 Cent, Eminem were coming. With rap music, you never know. I wouldn't have seen Lil Nas X coming, but I don't know where the music is going. But I know that the culture is going to continue to go global and dominate and hopefully enrich the human existence.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for your time, man. We really, really appreciate you sitting down with us.
Thank you, Mike and Mike.
And Orlando. We got Orlando over there too. So
security guard.
Yeah.
Bouncer.
Keeping that door closed. When does the
mid-May
the
for Iliad is dead and the Odyssey is over.
Dead.
Murs and Ninth Wonder.
And they can get that everywhere.
Yeah, it'll be everywhere.
iTunes,
streaming,
SoundCloud.
everywhere.
SoundCloud.
No, maybe not SoundCloud, but
probably
iTunes,
not SoundCloud.
Yeah. And probably should listen to it on iTunes if you have it. They pay their artists more money.
Well, there you go.
If you're wondering.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
This has been awesome. Thanks for listening to the podcast today. For more information, go to pdxspotlight.com and make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at PDX Spotlight, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content.